As usual, we're going to start by singing our sanctuary song, but before we do, I want to share something with you. That's something that I just shared with the group that was here for the prayer circuit, so they get to hear it twice this morning. I want to remind you that for the last few weeks, we've kind of been put on guard for this week. We've been told we need to be worried about attacks on our state capitals and what will happen around the inauguration and all of that stuff. And it's real. We're aware of it. I doubt there's anybody on this screen who hasn't heard it. And I want to address it because, first of all, I think we have to be in touch with the world. I think it's really important for us to remember that we are practitioners of living consciously, that we care about what we do with our minds, and we work regularly to keep ourselves in a particular state of mind. And it's very easy when we're getting information from every direction. It's very easy to sink into a lower vibration, into a lower consciousness, and to get stuck there, to live in dread and worry. And I want you to notice where you are today. I want you to notice your emotional state. I don't know how it is for all of you. I work really hard to stay connected to the oneness, the wholeness that we are. And in our oneness, there's some turmoil right now. And I woke up this morning feeling the edginess of it. So did Mark, both of us. It took us a minute to even notice that we were feeling edgy and figure out what that is. And so I want you to just notice if you have any edginess. I want you to notice what your thoughts are about today. If you're worried, if you're concerned, not that you have to change any of those thoughts, but I want you to notice them and be aware that we are feeding into and receiving from mass consciousness. So we get to decide whether we want to be in the receiving of mass consciousness or we want to put our focus on what we want to be in mass consciousness today. And one of the things that can help us do that is to unite our minds and our hearts together with each other on this screen, with all of the people in our community, and to actively and intentionally go forward. So I want to invite you into the possibility that we are living in one of the most important times of change on our planet. I want to invite you into gratitude that we get to do that. We get to be here for this amazing, transformative, powerful change that is taking place, and we get to actively contribute. So what are we creating? Are we creating peace? Are we creating equality? Are we creating an open and accepting world where people are able to express the divine fully? What are we wanting our world to look like? Because what happens in the manifesting process is we envision where we're going to, and then we create backwards from that. So let us be mindful that we are not alone. We have each other. We just looked across the screen, didn't we? I still have you all in gallery view. We just took a moment to see each other. Let us connect our hearts in a vision that what is happening now is for the good of all. And let us hold that there will be wisdom, and let us hold safety as a consideration. Let us hold that we are powerful and good creators. Let us create well together. The song that we open with is a song that reminds us that we are sanctuary to one another, that we hold each other in our hearts, that we hold sacred space for one another, and we are not alone. So let us be mindful of the words that we're sharing this morning. Connie?
Love, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. One more time. Love, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. A sanctuary for you.
Thank you, Connie. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So glad that you're all with us. And I know that some of you came in toward the middle or end of the song. We've been talking about how to hold ourselves in a powerful place over these next few days as we move into a time that our world feels uncertain. And that's really what we know, isn't it? We know that it's uncertain. So in the place of uncertainty, we have the opportunity to decide who we will be, how we will hold our energy, what we will put into mass consciousness. One of the greatest challenges, and also one of the greatest gifts we can offer, is that, and in a time when the world feels uncertain, that we are certain about our ability to shift the consciousness of humanity. That really is who unity is. It's what we do. It's what we practice for. It's what everything that we teach is about. Practicing conscious living. So my challenge for you over the next few days is that you hold yourself in a conscious place. That if you see something that you find upsetting, you don't allow yourself to devolve into a place where you forget that you are feeding into the consciousness of humanity in every moment. If you see or experience something that is discomforting or upsetting for you, I invite you to bring yourself back to a picture of the world that you want. Feed peace, feed healing, feed divine love, which is the purest love that moves through us, back into divine consciousness. Find yourself a quiet moment Allow those feelings to rise within you. We are not subject only to the circumstances around us. We can proactively hold a different energy, provide a different creative source. So I invite you not to engage in conversation that lowers your frequency and your vibration, but to bring yourself back over the next few days to the consciousness of peace and the consciousness of love and the consciousness of healing, and to allow yourself over and over to be in gratitude that we get to be part of the amazing change that's going on for humanity right now. That we are actively engaged and creating this change. We are one with everyone, not just with the people we want to be one with. We are interconnected with all things and all beings. So when we bring ourselves back to peace, we create a place for others to anchor to that energy. And not everyone has this technology that we have. Not everyone understands what we understand. And so let us be a positive force, a powerful, spiritual, centering force as we move forward. Our topic today is money. And money is a bad word for some people, but it's a good word. And today I'm going to talk to you about why it's a good word. And we're going to step into a different idea of prosperity. Connie, would you like to open for us?
This is what I know. We are all connected. The universe reflected in each shining part. And everywhere I go, I recognize the faces. All of my relations in this one heart. All I need is already looking through these eyes. Nearer than my breathing, closer than hands and feet. We are dreaming together all the gifts of heaven and earth. And so I receive all I can be. Now I let it go with such appreciation, with sheer exhilaration. Now I set it free, and so it goes. So be it. When I sing it, I can't see it. I welcome us in, and now we begin. Amen. Amen. Sing it now. Amen. Amen.
Such a perfect song. Such a perfect song. Everything we need is already there, isn't it? Looking through our eyes. What a remarkable thing that is. Our topic this month is prosperity, and I know that Julie kicked it off for us last week, and you've had a week to sit in the consciousness of what she shared. And over the next few weeks, you'll have more time with this possibility. And I say possibility because Our intention makes all the difference, doesn't it? The possibility that your needs are already met, that it's simply a matter of getting out of the way and letting the universe flow to you. I had an experience this weekend in taking kids to college and inviting them into the idea that they can receive. Because when we're young, we really believe we have to do it all ourselves, don't we? We have to break away from our families and we have to get out in the world and we have to make our own way. How many of you were taught that you have to make your own way in the world? Yeah, I see hands going up. Got to make your own way in the world. And, our parents taught us that wisely because they loved us. But they didn't necessarily give us any sense that our needs are already met. We didn't necessarily get tools for how to make our way in the world. I was taught you have to work really hard. If you want to have money, you have to work really hard. How many of you were taught that? Yeah. If I work hard, I can have anything I want. That's what my parents used to tell me. If you work hard, you can have anything you want. I work really hard. So not surprisingly, I was taught to, but it's a condition that I was given. In order to have money, in order to have success, in order to have whatever it is I want, I have to work hard. What an interesting possibility that might not be as true as we think it is. What an interesting possibility that how we think about receiving could change everything. I want to share a video with you this morning just to give you a perspective on prosperity. There are lots of different ways that we experience prosperity, that we think about prosperity. The one place that we don't talk about prosperity is we don't talk about money. Why? It's so integral to what we do, isn't it? It's so really important. And money is really a form of energy. Because the truth is that paper or even that metal, really, if we didn't assign it the name money, it would just be paper. It would be like any piece of paper I have. It's a colorful piece of paper on my desk. This piece of paper, really, I can't do much. I can write notes on it. But if I take it to the grocery store, it has no value. But what we call money has value because we have created this system. And we created this system because it became too cumbersome to trade things. It became too hard to trade a rutabaga for potatoes or a pig for corn or for the service of house building. It became too difficult for us to maneuver having what we needed by exchanging services and items. So we created something called money. We created this. It's our creation. We were brilliant. How many of you were taught that we were brilliant because we created money? No hands. We were not taught that we were brilliant because we created money. We were taught that money will corrupt you. It's an interesting thing we did with our own creation. We decided that it will corrupt us instead of looking at what really corrupts us, which is our way of using power. We decided that money is indicative of power. And we decided that if you have a lot of money, you either are very corrupt or you're a really good, smart person. But if I held up this little pad and said, but look at all of this paper I have, look at all of this paper I have, you would not say, my goodness, are you smart? You must have worked very hard for that paper. It's just paper. You go, why are you so enthused about that little pad of paper? We have given ourselves ideas around prosperity that come from our judgment. And I want to invite you into discerning, because there's a difference between those two, isn't there? When we judge someone, we are deciding what is true about them. When we discern something, we are deciding what we see and accept as true. What is your discernment around money in your life? What do you discern is good about money in your life? And what were you taught? I've been very blessed to study with many wonderful teachers. And I want to share with you this morning some quotes that really have been useful for me in understanding the energy of prosperity and the energy of money. Many of these are teachers that you are familiar with, that you have experienced yourself. And I have to manage all these buttons. I want to start with this one, because this is something that I know you're familiar with. This particular quote is from the Bible, from the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verses 7 and 8. And it says, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks, the door will be opened." That's very powerful, isn't it? Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find it. These are instructions. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find it. This is the way the universe works. We have to ask. Mary Morrissey is a wonderful teacher who I've enjoyed studying and teaching with in our Prosperity Plus class. And one of the examples that she uses is going to the bank. That when you go to the bank to take money from your bank account, you have to write a check or you have to get in on the pin pad and you have to actually put in what it is you want. You have to ask for something. You can't just go to the bank and say, I'd like some money, please. What do you really want? We have to know what we want. We have to think about what we're asking for in life. And then we have to ask for it. And I'm not talking about the crazy beseeching, oh God, please give me money, because none of us want to pray that way. That's not how we pray. We pray by putting an order in. This is who I am. I am a successful, vibrant, prosperous human being. The computer catches it. The divine computer catches it and goes, that's what we're creating. A successful, prosperous, divine human being. Cool. Let's move that way. Are you asking? Are you affirming what it is you want? Are you keeping your eyes open for it? Are you looking at life through the lens of fear that something bad might happen? Or are you looking for the good that the universe is putting in front of you every day? It makes a difference. Here's another one. This is by Waldo Emerson. This is the spirit of infinite plenty. The power, I can't see, the power that is continually bringing all things into expression in material form. He who lives in the realization of his oneness with this infinite power becomes a magnet to attract to himself a continual supply of whatsoever things he desires. So it's the spirit of infinite plenty, but not outside of us. Instead, it is our oneness with it that matters. I love those words, don't you? The spirit of infinite plenty. We talk about God, Goddess, all that is. We talk about all of that as love, as divine consciousness, as universal intelligence, as great spirit. I love this new name, which is an old name because Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote this a long time ago. This is the spirit of infinite plenty. What an interesting thing it would be to start your prayer speaking to the spirit of infinite plenty. And it changes things, doesn't it? Myrtle Fillmore said, sometimes we begin at the wrong end of the prosperity line, and our methods need changing. Perhaps we try to accumulate money to meet our temporal needs without first laying hold of the equivalent of money on the inner planes of consciousness. This inner equivalent consists of our rich ideas, our innate capabilities, and resources of spirit. How many of you, and I include myself in this, how many of us begin at the wrong end of the prosperity line? How many of us look for a job based on how much money we have to make? How many of us are greatly motivated in our life by how much money we can accumulate, rather than reaching to the inner planes of consciousness and really creating in life the ability to do the good in the world that we want to do? What is the good you want to do? How do you want to be able to help in the world? In the inner plane of your own consciousness, I know there is a desire to be able to help your family if they're in need, to be able to help someone who's hungry, to be able to contribute in a way that changes things in the world. Perhaps you want to contribute to a group addressing global climate change, or you want to help the American Heart Association because maybe they helped someone in your family. Whatever it is that you want to do, that's where you start your creative process around money, around any prosperity. Not just, I have to make this much, but what is the good I really need to do? And what do I need to be able to do that good? And once you know what you need, then you can go to the spirit of infinite plenty and say, this is what I need. I am affirming that I will have this so that I can do my good work in the world. It's a very different way of thinking than how we were taught to think about money. We were not taught to envision the good we can do. We were taught to take care of ourselves. In order to take care of yourself, you must have enough money. And that by itself is not enough to change your prosperity. To change your level of prosperity is to open up to the good that is trying to flow through you, and to believe and know that as you were born, what you needed was already there. You're just calling it forward. Myrtle also said a great help in realizing permanent prosperity is to come into the realization that we do not work to earn money to meet our expenses. This is a delusion of the mortal mind. Hear that again. We do not work to earn money to meet our expenses. This is a delusion of the mortal mind. In reality, in earning money, we are expressing the God-given faculties and powers to bless others and to keep our part of the divine law of giving and receiving. We have a part in that. As the universe gives to us, so we have to receive it first of all. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about gratitude and how gratitude primes the pump. We're going to talk about that in a couple of weeks. But for now, I just want you to understand the laws of the universe. We have to keep our part in the divine law. Myrtle could have chosen 100 other words. She could have called it the divine truth. She could have called it the divine belief. She could have called it a lot of other things. But she named it a universal law. And believe me, what Myrtle was bringing through created this movement. She was powerfully connected to the oneness that we are. Her words have value. Florence Scovel Shinn is another Unity teacher and brilliant author, and if you have the time, reading anything she wrote is worth your while. She did write in that kind of 1800s, early 1900s language, but she has some powerful stuff to say, especially around abundance. And she says this is probably, of all the things that I'm sharing with you, this is probably my favorite quote, and it's in this first 6 or 7 words. Man comes into the world financed by God. I really wanted to just stop the quote there. Man comes into the world financed by God, or woman. Again, the writing style is from a different time. Let's say people come into the world financed by God. You already have what you need. People come into the world financed by God with all that he desires or requires already on his path. Man comes into the world financed by God with all that he or she desires or requires already on the pathway. This supply is released. How do we get it? This supply is released through faith and the spoken word. If you can believe, all things are possible. Instructions again, right? The same instructions we got before. This supply is released through faith and the spoken word. Ask for what you want. Next week, we're going to talk more about faith and how we exercise the muscle of faith. But for today, let's just remember we're asking for what we want. This is by Joseph Campbell. Money is congealed energy, and releasing it releases life's possibilities. Money experienced as a life energy is indeed a meditation, and letting it flow out instead of hoarding it is a mode of participation in the life of others. That's a powerful statement. It's a really powerful statement. Money is energy. It's simply the way we think about the substance of the universe. That we have decided that the substance of the universe is reflected in this paper. We've decided that this paper is what reflects the energy of our exchange of life with life, our movement of life force between us. Part of what happens in our world right now, and it happens a lot in Western culture, is that we are not exchanging enough life force with people who have so little. We're holding it. And we're holding it in our homes. We're holding it in all the things that we have. And if I walked you through my own house, you would see, if I only held it in the library of books I have, if I simply liquidated my library of books, how much good could I do in the world? Especially in today's time when I can pull up most anything I need on the internet. We hold on in Western culture to the energy of life through all of the things that we hold that other people could use that we're not passing on. We're not sharing. We're holding because we might, like me with my books, I might need that sometime. I might need to go back to that book as though there wasn't a library or any other place where I could find that book. What is it that you're holding that you really could share with the world? Because in truth, we are looking at how we create prosperity in the oneness we are. Part of what stops us from prosperity is that we have stepped out of the flow of doing good in the world, of looking out for each other. We were taught, most of us, that we had to have enough money to take care of ourselves. And our money gets invested in things, and the things sit on a shelf. And we have much more than we can even imagine until we start to think differently about who we can help and how we can help, and how the resource that is the universal energy we came here with, that was financed for us in our birth by the divine, until we think about that and know that there is always enough, and recognize that our job is to move the flow, to keep things flowing. This is my personal affirmation. I am richly abundant in happiness, love. I'm richly abundant. Happiness, love, and prosperity flows easily to me. I am richly abundant. Happiness, love, and prosperity flows easily to me. The other half of that is making sure that as it flows easily and effortlessly to me, that it flows through me out into the world. That I am looking for ways to help. Mark and I have consciousness around helping people, around who we can give to who is in need. And it happens for us in lots of little ways. It might be a student we have the ability to help. It might be one of our kids we have the ability to help. Most of you know that we're working with a young man in Uganda right now to help him. We have this understanding that as long as we are moving the energy of the universe, that the universe is going to keep this energy flowing because we're a good conduit, aren't we? This is what I'm inviting you into. How are you moving the energy of life? Because that's what money is. Money is simply the energy of life flowing through us. And when we stop it from flowing, the receiving is affected. It's just like when the circuit breaker flips in your house and the energy has stopped, hasn't it? The lights go out wherever that breaker is connected. The lights go out. Energy can no longer flow there. It's stopped. The breaker is not open anymore. The energy is not flowing through. In Unity, we often say you can't outgive God. You can't outgive God. You simply can't. I dare you, try. You can't outgive God. As you are moving energy, it's coming back. I want to invite you into a time of meditation. I want to share with you some affirmations that come from the people I've quoted today. So I want to invite you to close your eyes. And I want you to hear my voice as though you are hearing your own voice in your head. Our affirmations are spoken always in an I am statement, because that is how the universal computer works. I am means something in the creative process. It is a statement of being. And when you state it, the entire universe conspires to create it. Ask for what you want in the right way. You can't go to the bank and just say, give me some money. You have to fill out the paperwork. And there's a certain way you have to do it to get back what you want. And while I'm talking about that, I'll say the same thing. If you have not put money in the bank, you have nothing to take out, right? The putting money in the bank is how you give in the world. And when you do that, you're able to state what you want. So let's take a deep breath in. Let's settle into this perfect, prosperous moment. And let's first be aware what we have. And let's recognize that we have clothing. More clothing than we know what to do with, most of us. That we have resources, food and water, gas in our vehicles. That we have a home with many rooms, not just one room. And several choices in our homes as to where we might sit. That we have neighbors who smile at us. And people who care about us. We are part of a brilliant, wise, growing community, thriving community. We have many things to be grateful for. So let's begin from gratitude, knowing that we are well and we are already provided. And let us repeat these affirmations. And I invite you, I will give you time between them to say them for yourself. Don't worry if the words are exactly the same as mine. Just choose the words that are similar. I now draw from the abundance of the spheres my immediate and endless supply. All channels are free, all doors are open. I now release the gold mine within me. I am linked with an endless golden stream of prosperity. All that is mine by divine right is now released and reaches me in great avalanches of abundance. All doors fly open for my immediate and endless, divinely designed supply. My ships come in over a calm sea. I spend money under direct inspiration, wisely and fearlessly, knowing my supply is endless. I am fearless in letting money go out, knowing God is my immediate and endless supply. And the last one, I am richly abundant. Life, love, and prosperity are mine. Let's just sit in a moment in this state of prosperous knowing. Take a deep breath in and gently open your eyes. This is a practice. It is a spiritual practice, no different than meditation, no different than showing up here on Sunday mornings, no different than monitoring how you think, consciously living and thinking and breathing and feeling into the creation of your life. If you were taught that money corrupts, if you were taught there's not enough, if you were taught that you have to work hard to have it, then I encourage you to start your affirmation with a denial. No matter what previous beliefs I'm releasing now, I understand that I am prosperous and well. I understand and am moving the energy of the divine. No matter how worried I am about money, I am abundant and well. No matter how concerned I am abundant and well. This fear around money has no power over me. Just say that. This fear around money has no power over me. I am provided for by universal love. All my needs are met. Now, I want to say to you, this is not always the easiest thing to do. I realize what I'm asking of you. I'm asking you to be planetary change agents. I am asking you to envision that you are so prosperous that the energy of the universe is coming easily to you so that you can do good in the world. And I'm asking you to envision the good that you want to do, because doing that is flipping the breaker back where it belongs. This fear has no power over me. I am a change agent bringing love, joy, and abundance to the world. That's a statement, isn't it? This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. And the more you say that, the more you ask the universe to change the energy of your life. This is how we change things. It's important. When we let go of the idea that the paper is the important thing, and we recognize the good we can do, everything changes. I wish you deep abundance. Connie?
Well, this song is a bit on the humorous side, but I think it has a lot of wonderful affirmations in it, and it's a good place to start your dreaming. Be outrageous in your dreaming. Woke up this morning, something wasn't right. My poor head was a-throbbing 'cause I tossed and turned all night. This unfamiliar feeling that shook me up inside. The truth it was revealing that a part of me had died. So I called my higher self. She gave me the bad news. She said, your life is just too good. You lost the right to sing the blues. That broken down old Chevy that was eating me alive. Well, I visualized a Lexus, now it's sitting in my drive. And that man of mine, that scoundrel, that rotten low-down bum, I transformed him into a love god with a sizable trust fund. And everywhere I looked, I was confronted with the clues. My life was just so good, I lost the right to sing the blues. You can sing the blues if you can't pay the rent. And you can sing the blues if all your money's been spent. How can I sing the blues? I ain't got no excuse when I'm driving in my Porsche on the way to my masseuse, 'cause you won't find me waiting late at night in some smoky bar. You won't see me crying into my old guitar. I'm too busy cleaning my chakras and chasing bad karma away and fluffing up my aura. Well, honey, that can take all day. Now that I'm enlightened, I gotta spread the news. When life gets this darn good, you've lost the right to sing the blues. Oh, you can sing the blues when your best friend puts you down. And you can sing the blues if your man has done left town. But what gives me the right to sing that mournful tune when I'm steaming with my honey in my sauna in Cancun? So now you've heard my story and you understand my pain. Searching but not finding any reason to complain. My stars are in alignment, my house is all feng shuied. I'm filled with peace and harmony. My bills have all been paid. I've let go of the struggle. No, I've paid my dues. When life gets this darn good, you've lost the right to sing the blues.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Connie. So we've talked a lot about ideas. I want to talk for a minute about reality. Reality. I want to say to you that if you are here in our beloved community and you are struggling, something isn't right financially for you, or you don't feel prosperous, and the idea of giving out is almost impossible for you. And I've been there. I was a single parent with 2 kids for 5 years. I had time on food stamps. I had time figuring out whether I was going to address the eviction notice on the door or the need to buy groceries. So I have been there. I don't want you to think that this lofty idea denies that we can have struggle in our lives. We can. I've lived through it myself. We can have very challenging times. What I want to invite you into is the possibility that you are not asking for help because you think you have to fight your way through it. I want to invite you into the possibility that there are many resources to help you, including our community, that we are here and you are not alone. I want to invite you to ask yourself whether you do a good job of receiving. Are you willing to receive? Or were you taught something about that? Were you taught that you shouldn't ask anybody for anything? Were you taught that if you need something, you are failing? Remember when we talked about the energy of giving and receiving? We so get the energy of giving. All of us want to, it feels good to give, doesn't it? What if everybody in the world stopped receiving? What if there was no place you could give? Everybody stopped receiving. There would be nothing. We would be totally at a standstill, wouldn't we? There are times in life that we need to receive. There are times in life that prosperity begins by taking care of us so that we can reach a point where we can take care of someone else. But the hard part of this is not giving to someone else. The hard part of this is allowing yourself to receive, really being willing to look at all the different ways that the universe can provide what you need. So if you don't have food and you can go somewhere and they'll give you food, does that make you any less successful in life? Or are you a brilliant, resourceful individual who found what you needed? I vote 2. You're a brilliant, resourceful individual. And by receiving, you continue to gift the universe by moving energy. And that's really how it works. So if you are on the part of this, in the part of this lesson that is about receiving, it's really important to all of us givers. Please, it's really important. And it's important for you to really understand that the universe does have what you need, that it is being brought to you, that the resources are available. There's a faith in that, isn't there? There's a need for a faith when we say we were brought in financially stable. The universe holds the note for our life. When we think about that, there's a need for faith. And next week, we're going to talk about how you exercise the muscle of faith when it comes to your personal prosperity. I'll be posting the video that I shared earlier on our Facebook page. Go back and watch it again. Remember all the ways that you're prosperous, and we'll talk more about all of that next week. I'm going to run the risk of calling on Dawn Turner, who I think is here. Dawn, are you here? Can you open your mic, or Chris, can you unmic Dawn for me? Dawn, I'm going to call on you because we are in an important time of the year. Did you find it? There you are. We're hi, Luana. We're in an important time of the year for elections. And I was wondering if you want to talk for a minute about that. Don kind of got a 2-year term instead of a 1-year term. He was serving as our nominating team committee when we were just about to be in our business meeting and move on to electing someone else, and then we moved out of our building. So you got a 2-year term, double your money, Don. And so I know that you are working with Derek and the board, but I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about why someone might want to run for the board and what their next steps would be if they're interested.
Well, I'll start with the next steps. If you would like to run for the board, anybody can run for the board, and anybody can nominate anyone to run for the board. So if you know of someone you think would be a good board member, you can nominate them. You can ask me or Derek or Chris. There's a nominating form that you can nominate someone. And then I'd like to point out that we only have about 3 weeks from last Friday to complete the process of having all our nominees fill out applications, and Ahriana and the nominating team interviews them to make sure that they know what they're getting into, reading the bylaws and lots of information. There's a whole little package that we send to you for information. As far as serving on the board, when I served on the board, I found it very rewarding. I really felt rewarded by just helping out Unity Church. It's like another way of doing good for the church and doing good for the city. So does that help, Ahriana?
Yeah, that's very helpful. So just one minor correction, which is you must be a member to run for the board.
Oh.
Right? So you don't have to go around and ask your friends if they're members. You can nominate anyone you want. One of the first steps that we take is to figure out if somebody's been a member. And according to our bylaws, I believe you have to have been a member for at least a year. If you'd like to nominate someone, the easiest way, or if you'd like to nominate yourself, the easiest way to get that message to Dawn and to Derek and to the nominating committee will be to send it to Chris in the office at unity@unityrockies.org, unity@unityrockies.org, and Chris can put that in the chat box. And so you can just send a letter and say, I'm interested in learning more about the board, or I'd like to nominate so-and-so as a potential board member. And then the nominating committee will pick this up. This year is an important time. Not that every year isn't, because believe me, every year the board has to make really important decisions about what's coming up. And the board can be challenged with lots of different things. This year in particular, because as I announced earlier, this year I will be departing Unity Spiritual Center, and you'll be hiring a new minister. The board makes the final decision about that. So this is an important year that the people that run for the board really understand you have a big responsibility. Our ministers have a good history of staying for many years, from 5 years to about 11 or 12 years, usually for a minister. So when you make this decision, you're affecting the future. And this is very much a giving. Because remember, giving isn't just about giving money. Giving is about your time and your talent. And if you feel like you would like to contribute to the ministerial process, then now is a good time to run for the board. We will have our meeting on March 21st. You can mark your calendar. That's a Sunday. It will happen right after our service. We'll take a little short break so you can grab a sandwich or some coffee, and we'll just leave the room open and come right back in. So that will be coming up in a couple of months. As Dawn said, we have to have our candidates in place by the end of January, I believe. Maybe it's the middle of February. Actually, we have a 45-day window. We'll get that to you. We'll get you the exact date. I also thank you, Dawn.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for doing what you're doing. Moving into another area of concern, I want to let you know that tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, I will be doing a 10-minute come on in, get your mind back in the right place meditation. And Tuesday at 10 o'clock, Tuesday at 6 o'clock, I'll be doing a 10-minute come back in, get your mind in the right place meditation. And Wednesday, after the inauguration and whatever things happen in the next few days, we will get together again at 6 o'clock for 10, maybe 15 minutes of just, let's bring ourselves together around where we are. Okay? It's really important that we keep our head in the game this week, that we think like unity people, and that we know that the world is well, and that what we're seeing happen is moving the energy of life in a direction towards peace and well-being and oneness amongst all people and all things. Okay? So you can come right to this link, same link you use. I'll open the room 15 minutes early. You can just jump in. It's going to be very informal, but you'll get a chance to see each other, and we'll keep ourselves connected. Chris, is there anything else that I'm forgetting? Any other announcements?
Unity Basics and the upcoming meeting.
You want to talk about Unity Basics? That's all right. You don't have to talk about Unity Basics. Linda's here. Linda will tell us about Unity Basics.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Unity Basics is a class for new Unity students, or if you just want to refresh your understanding of how the Unity movement started and some of the teachers and the principles that we use in being what we like to call unitics. And it will start on January 31st. This is in the chat box and runs February 7th, 14th, and 21st from 11:30 to 12:30. So you'll have a little time after the service to get yourself ready to come to class. There will also be a new member orientation on March 3rd. And that is if you're interested in becoming a member before the annual meeting, so you can vote for the new board members, and also to learn a little bit more about our personal unity in the Rockies as opposed to big unity. And Ahriana will be conducting that, and I will be assisting her with that. So please let Chris know if you are interested in attending any or all of those, particularly for Unity Basics. I'd like to email you some handouts, which I would normally hand to you, which I can't do. So I hope a lot of you will come and get some more knowledge, and we'll have fun besides. On
Thanks so
Zoom,
much.
it'll be my Zoom, so I'll need to let you know how to get into it.
No, we'll use our main Zoom.
Oh, okay.
We'll get you into the main Zoom. We can do
All right.
that.
Sounds
We can
good.
make it work. Hi, Richard.
Hi.
Just didn't want you to think you were just an arm trophy there. Wanted to say
Chopped
good morning.
liver, chopped liver.
That's right. Okay. I muted myself thinking I could mute you, Linda. This technology thing is funny. Also want to remind you that this is specifically for the women of Unity. We will be sending out a survey. I was hoping I would have it done today, but I'm going to send it tomorrow. So watch your email tomorrow and you'll get a link to a survey about our women's circle. And even if you haven't participated in the women's circle, even if you're not sure you'd ever want to, please take a minute to fill out the survey. We're trying to find out kind of in the bigger community, what could this women's circle be? What would you like it to be? What would attract you to it? What would you like in relationship with the other women in the community? So this survey will go out, and next Sunday, I'll share a little bit about the results with you. And next Saturday, we'll have our next women's circle, and I'll also have the results available for the women who attend then, and I'll be leading that women's circle next Saturday. So all of this stuff is going to go out in your e-blast this week. Be sure and watch your email. If you're not receiving our e-blast, again, send a note to Chris. She'll make sure you get the information to subscribe. So lots of stuff happening at our Unity Spiritual Center. Let's go back to our gallery view. Why is there so much stuff? Because look at all these beautiful faces. Look at what we get to do. We get to be together, all of us. We are wildly creative, aren't we? That we can do all of this stuff in this new forum, that we have found a way to see each other's faces. Wow, what an amazing time it is to be alive, that we can work together for the good of the world. We can work together to bring that divine expression through us and out into the world and to each other, and hold each other and connect with one another and know that we're not alone in this kind of crazy, uncertain, challenging time. I am so grateful that you took time out of your day to be here. So grateful to get to see your beautiful faces, and looking forward to where we're going to go over the next few months together, to the good things that are happening. So let's take a moment as we notice one another and connect with one another. Let's pray our way out of this space. And then for anyone who would like to stay for fellowship after Connie sings us out, just hang around and I will move you into some breakout rooms so you can spend some time with one another. Deep breath in, folks. And release. We are together and we are grateful. We're grateful for each other. Grateful for the divine that flows through us and as us. Grateful for the prosperous way we're invited to live, and that prosperity is both giving and receiving, and not necessarily in that order. We're grateful for new ways to think about life. Grateful for openings that allow our hearts and our minds to shift. And grateful to hold the power that allows us to gift divine consciousness with a sense that all is well, all is well, all is well. In this place of gratitude, we connect our hearts knowing that we are a united and thriving community, and that we move forward powerfully in the world. And for this too, we are grateful. And we close with these simple words. Amen, amen. And so it is.
Before we sing our closing song, I have a question for you, Reverend Ahriana. Are you ready to receive?
I am.
Yay! Okay, everyone, let's give her the birthday song. She had a big birthday this past week, and I just want to acknowledge that. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Ahriana. Happy birthday to you and many more. bundles and bunches more.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's sing our way out now that we had that another happy moment today. And as always, I really suggest that if someone comes to your mind, reach out to them, even if you don't really know them very well. That's okay. You never know what the appointment is about. Let the light within you shine. We are all connected. Look into another's eyes. See your light reflected. We are one light, shining souls in harmony. We are one light, shining in unity. Blessings, everybody. Have a wonderful week.